All right, welcome back to Mortgage Meet, marketing, education, activities, and tips for mortgage loan originators. Once again, Mortgage Manfro in the house. Welcome.
What's up?
Hey, so, I know last time you were here, you mentioned that your favorite steak was a overcooked Chili's sirloin with a side of...
Awesome blossoms.
Awesome. But what's funny is that I run the thing through ChatGPT for our notes just for fun. And it suggested a follow-up question to someone who's been on the show might be, if you were a steak sauce, which one would you be and why?
Oh, I don't even the names of the steak sauce probably is, let's just go with A1, dude. The most standard, plain, low-class steak sauce there is.
I was talking to someone today, they said, man, why do people give me a hard time for putting steak sauce? I said, because the steak should taste good.
Yeah.
Without having to cover it. So I guess if I was a really tough, leathery steak, I'd just be ketchup. Just some ketchup on there.
Bunch of ketchup.
All right. So today, actually, great topic. With Mortgage Meet, with our themed names, we're talking about second helpings today, and realistically getting deals for people you've already helped before.
Yep.
Which is a great topic. You've got experience in this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
So just recently, the last 12 months, we've realized that we've gotten more past client referrals than we've ever got in our whole entire career. And that kind of spurred me in my creating presentations constantly to help people like grow and give, guide, and educate through the mortgage process. We created a presentation which basically is called Repeat and Referral Business Bootcamp.
Okay.
And in that presentation, we go over kind of all the things that we're doing that we think are spurring these additional clients to basically reach out and try and connect us with people that need a mortgage. So I'm just excited to kind of dive into that and give you guys some insight on what we're doing and some ideas, and hopefully help you guys transition into getting more repeat business from your clients, because it's just you've already worked with them, and why would you not want that? So
yeah, it's funny is that so much time and energy spent, right, to secure a client. And I know you'll talk about this, but that sounds transactional, right?
Yeah.
And ideally, we're building friendships, relationships, and so I guess for those of you that don't know about Tim, this is Mortgage Manfro. Gentleman did 80 plus transactions last year. 89 loans last year. So I don't know where your year was. I know there's some that may have done more, but for most people I talk to, man's a machine. Also, he shares his tips all the time. Shoot him a text. What number can they text you?
909-837-8777. I will meet or talk with anyone that wants to connect, whether it be loan officers or real estate agents or anyone. That wants to hang out.
Sounds good. And it's really cool because I've texted him before, and he'll say a little calendar of what do you want to talk about.
Yeah. And
so I'm excited to hear more about this one. So let's dive into it.
Yeah. So I saw a stat, which we've all seen these stats before, but this kind of was like, the main point of my presentation that I put together. And it's 87% of people would use their real estate agent again. Only 12% do. And that's a powerful stat, man. Because think about that huge disconnect. Like, why are only 12% of people basically using a real estate agent or a loan officer again after using them? You've helped them. Hopefully they've had a good experience. I would say most of the time they do. You've helped them achieve home ownership. You've helped them achieve a goal. And then all of a sudden they don't use you again. X amount of years down the road, right?
When I tell you, I remember when that stat came out from NAR, and I think there's a little more to it, where it was 87% of people would use a realtor again if they just knew who they were.
Yeah.
Was like part of that. Like they don't even know. And I was sharing with you before we started, my dad was a realtor for years. Mm-hmm. And I did loans. My dad did real estate. And we would go canvas old school. We'd go dropping, flyers at the doors, throwing notepads in the street. And I still remember like going around the neighborhood. We marketed Alpha Loma, right? And seeing this house on the corner had a for sale sign. And it wasn't. My dad was with Remax at the time, right? It wasn't Remax. I'm like, how dare them? How dare these people? Dismiss. Why did they list with this other person? We help them out. 3 years ago, I never talked to him again.
Never.
It's like, guess we can't be too upset. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to like 5 things is what I figured out. So, like you said, lack of follow-up. So basically after the transaction.
Guilty.
Yeah, I mean, all of us are guilty, right? I mean, we've all done it. We all continue to do it. But, this hopefully spurs you guys to start thinking a little bit more about what you do after the transaction is closed, right? So getting away from having the number 2, which is a transactional mindset. As real estate professionals, we have to basically consistently be generating new people that are looking to buy or sell a house or refinance a loan. So we're constantly looking for those. But I think where we're missing the mark is, to them, this is like they bought their house. This is a big deal. Like, they want to feel like after the transaction's over, you're still there with them, answering questions, being a resource. And I think, that's just a huge thing to not follow up, and then to basically make them feel like it's a transactional mindset that you have, right?
And then they may feel like, even if they had a question, I don't want to bother him, he already got paid, or whatever they might be thinking.
Yeah. We have to deal with that as well. And I mean, there's so much competition and noise out there. I mean, there's real estate agents and loan officers that make a living literally just calling random people constantly, get a list of people. They're consistently following up and hoping they get them on that one day when they might need that service, right? Because I think what's the average amount of time, I think, is getting longer in between when someone buys a house and when they buy another house. As a loan officer, there may be opportunities for refinancing, but I think it used to be like 5 or 6 years, and now it's like, I think I saw a stat that's maybe it's like longer, like 8 or 9 years now.
Well, we'll go with 8 or 9 years because we verify nothing on mortgage.
Yeah, we don't verify.
So anything. It sounds like, hey, it's a while.
I saw something out there that sounded like that. So I think.
Well, the thing too is it's not necessarily just that house too, right? I think that's one of the disconnects is that maybe an investment property, maybe a second home, or maybe they have a friend. Yeah.
I just got a call from someone over the weekend, and we helped him purchase a home about a year ago. And he's like, "Hey, do you have opportunity to do loans in Oklahoma?" And we do have opportunities to basically facilitate loans in different states. And I'm like, "Yeah, we could help you." And he's like, "Oh, my friend is purchasing a home out there. She lives out here. She's moving out there. And she was going to use Rocket Mortgage Direct. And I just told her she's crazy and she needs to contact you." So he called me, verified. All of a sudden, I get a group text message with her on there. And we're already starting the process of helping her put together an application. So right there is just a key point. So it's not even necessarily like that person is going to buy another house.
Yeah.
It's that you've done such a good job of staying in front of them, and they had such a good experience, and they feel like it's not a transactional thing, that the second someone mentions, real estate or mortgages, they think of you instantly, and you've created this raving fan that's going to basically be out there working for you.
Well, and that's the deal, right? It's like, how often do you hear, "Oh, I got a guy," or "Hey, I got to do this." You want to be that guy or that gal that is the realtor, that is the LO that they always think of.
Absolutely.
It's like, it was Seinfeld's pretty funny. Everyone's got a doctor. I'm going to the doctor. I got a guy. He's the best. Well, I got a guy. He's the best.
Because everyone deep down wants to refer someone to their friends, and if you're not in the right, reminding them that you're available for all that kind of stuff, that's where you're missing the mark. And I think another number 4 on my list was changing circumstances. So, people's circumstances are changing constantly. So you may have helped them purchase their home, 7 years ago when they were a first-time home buyer and did down payment assistance, and maybe since then they've done really well in their job, and now all of a sudden they're the CEO of a company and they're selling this house and buying a $2 million house. If you're not basically in front of them, reminding them that you're helping all different types of people by telling stories of helping those types of people on social media or through your CRM or whatever, they may feel that you wouldn't be a good fit at a $2 million house because the house you helped them buy was $350 or $500 or whatever it was. So
it's like getting pigeonholed into a certain thing, right? It's like, well, you only do DPA, or you only do this. No. I do DPA today. I do your retirement, vacation homes. I do all of it. Yeah.
So if you stay in front of them, reminding them that you can help all different types, that could be an opportunity that you wouldn't miss when they go to buy their next move up house. I think like lack of value post sales. So you have to have things in place that basically we'll dive into that are going to add value to the client after the fact of when they got their mortgage or purchased their home. So, so that's basically kind of like the layout and some of the things I think that people are missing the mark on. I think that we're doing at a high level now, which is generating all these past client referrals. So, let's see. So building relationships, not transactions. So I think like one of the big things that we've been doing recently is communicating in a way that is very excited for the client. Purchasing a home is like such an achievement, right? Like, And I think because we are doing so many transactions over and over again, sometimes we get what you would want to call jaded, or basically just losing the fact that this is the biggest move this person's ever made, right?
So at that point, it's funny because, I've been in the wholesale industry for a number of years, and the wholesale industry's kind of stepped back, right, from dealing with consumers. And I remember talking to our team a couple of years ago and saying, look, we need to remember, it's not a loan number, right?
Yeah.
It's Jimmy and Susie Smith, and they've got one kid who's going to be growing up and swinging in that tree, and the cat has one eye. Like we went into this elaborate thing, or like how much detail there is there, and to remind yourself, because you're 100% right. If they feel like you're only there for the transaction, you're done, or do they feel like you're their guy, you're part of the family,
part of the team,
yeah,
part of the.
Sure.
So when we communicate, we're extremely excited constantly every step of the way. I mean, you got pre-approved, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, great step, this is so good. When you're talking to them and going over the pre-approval, be excited, be pumped up about everything that's going on, every little step of the way. They write their first offer, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is so great. You got to basically be genuine, but basically be excited and almost over the top, because that kind of like excitement raises their excitement, and they basically understand that you understand what a big deal all this is throughout the process, whether it be ordering the appraisal came back, your loan's approved, we got conditional approval, or we got clear to close. Now we're funding the loan. I mean, all these different things are.
We got pulled for random QC audit.
Yeah. I mean, these are all exciting things.
Exciting thing, new condition, and closing.
Yeah. And I think being excited and thankful is one of the things that we're doing at a high level, that's basically generating all these people to want to have those feelings where they want to basically refer us after the fact, right?
Yeah.
And doing that creates like these deeper connections. Learn everything you can about the client. Like you were jokingly saying, like there was a cat with one eye and their kid was this, that, the other. We used to have like a intake form where they'd fill out their favorite color and stuff, and that literally we got away from that. But what we do is like anytime something comes across that we might want to notate, I literally just put it in the contact, like of the person, like in the notes. Huge Lakers fan, originally from Michigan, whatever, all these little things. So that way it's hard for us to remember that with all the clients we work with, hopefully. But if we're going back and we're basically reconnecting with them and we have a little notes on their contact that says a couple little bullet points, that could be a good way to basically have a deeper conversation or a better conversation. So I keep it super simple. You could go over the top, but just literally in my contact on my phone, I have little notes about each person that I think makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Tactical empathy is something that...
What'd you say?
Tactical empathy.
Tactical empathy. Okay.
Tactical empathy. So basically what that means...
Hang on, don't be sad yet. I don't have time to care for you right now.
Yeah. Well, tactical empathy actually, so the definition is like, the way that I explain it to people is always seeing things from their side of the street. So I read a book called Full Fee Agent, which was all about basically negotiating your full fee as a real estate agent. But it really it hit home when all these changes were happening with the real estate agent compensation, all the signatures you have to get up front and all that. Yeah. And basically what tactical empathy is to me is always seeing things from their side of the street. So basically the normal way that most people communicate is your client's on one side of the street and you're on the other side. Yeah. And you're screaming across the street trying to explain to them why they should see things your way, right? Tactical empathy is when you walk across the street, stand shoulder to shoulder with the client, view things the way that they're viewing them, and then make suggestions and help guide them through the process. So when you have that tactical empathy, there's this chemical reaction in your brain that creates a connection with that person that's doing tactical empathy at a high level, that basically just makes them want to return the favor and be more connected to you. And another thing is creating high five moments. So anytime you could ever, when you do a high five, that's like a celebration.
Yeah,
right?
That's like Mel, whatever her name is. I read her book.
Oh, okay.
High Five Habit. Cool book, too.
Yeah.
She's talking about starting out, she high fives herself in the mirror every day.
Yeah.
Herself, right?
I like that.
Again, if no one else here, boom. And that is a great way to start, because it just, how do you not get excited? High five, yeah,
and you said it. Last week.
You almost got me in the face.
So, obviously we're not seeing clients face to face all the time, or maybe not even ever. Mm-hmm. But if the way we're communicating and the way we're basically going back and forth is creating what feels like a high five moment, I feel like that creates a deeper connection as well.
For sure.
So when you're building those relationships, not transactions, looking for the high five moments, being excited throughout the process is basically going to make them carry that emotion on beyond the transaction and think of you more often when basically there's an opportunity. So,
you think about that too, and like, where do we normally see high five? Like, where do you think of it? You think it's like sports, right? And what is the most important thing when you're in sports? The team, right? It's together. It's not like I won, we won. I think that's awesome because they didn't get the house by themselves. The realtor, the LO, everybody worked together for it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and all the communications we do, I mean, I'd probably say it like an annoying amount of times, but I always say thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of your team. You know? Yeah. I mean, because we want to make them understand, and that's also putting the real estate agent in there as well, like on the group text messages saying like, you know, thank you again for the opportunity to be part of your team or your journey. And that's creating that deeper connection as well. So that leads to like the other stat, which I think connects with the first one, is 91% of all realtors never contact their buyer or seller after closing.
If you're guilty, put a thumbs down in the chat.
I mean, think about it.
No, don't thumbs down our chat. That might be bad.
Think about it though, dude.
Yeah.
You close, and then only 9% of people actually reach out again and in some way. Any contact.
And this is actually a stat that is verified with National Association of Realtors. Yeah. This isn't our normal random.
You made it up. Yeah, this is a real actual stat. So, and I think that's something that if you just even think about that, even a couple times every year or once a year is better than nothing. And you may be in the right place at the right time as opposed to someone else who's just randomly calling them. So,
hang on that for once. It reminds me of something. So Tim Cahill, who was a buddy of mine, mentor of mine, he shared something at one of our other podcasts that when he got into the business, he was at this seminar and he was taking notes. And they said, hey, you know, look around. I forget the exact number. I have to look at the other podcast because we don't verify anything. But they said something like 10 or 20% of the people in the room would do these like 3-4 things. He said like a group of like all the top producers in the area looked around the room. He was one of the top producers. There's other ones there. And only, I think it was 20% of the people would do these like 4 things. That's crazy. In a room of 100 people, only 20 are going to do it. This is like equally crazy, right? Yeah. So if you're a realtor and only 9% are bothering to follow up with their past clients, you being the one that does puts you in probably the top 10%.
Top 10% of the world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Of the nation.
What an easy takeaway.
All you got to do is reach out and take time. And I mean, creating, I'll talk about creating those opportunities, I think, in a little bit later in the presentation. But actually, it's right here. So this one's
asking you'll receive.
This slide's called Stay in Touch. Okay. So you need to add value, not check in. Okay. So that's something that like I think about on a consistent basis. Like so many times we've said like just checking in. It's like, dude, your mom or your grandma checks in on you. You're like, you don't want to check in. You want to add value. So you want to be reaching out, but you have to schedule this personal value add communication. Right. So like for us personally, the way that we have it set up and we've been doing now is, so we close the transaction. Okay. And then basically a month after we do all the congratulations and all the great stuff. Yeah. We're excited for you, all that. So a month after the transaction closes, we basically reach out and try to schedule a call or get them on the phone. And we want to remind them that their first mortgage payments come in the mail.
Thank you.
Congratulate them again. Right.
Hey, that's one that the lender appreciates.
Yeah. I mean,
remind them they have a payment.
I mean, so many times, like, you know, people, they're getting so many different things. It's just an extra little value add to basically call them, make sure they got their mortgage statement, see if they have any questions and have that conversation. A month's passed. They're still excited about the house. It's really always a really pretty quick, easy conversation. And then basically we have a 3-month checkup after. And on that checkup, we're going to call and remind them about the supplemental tax bill. Okay. Nice. So we may have talked about the supplemental tax bill before, but, you know, no one remembers that. We're going to want to basically make sure they understand, like, that's technically their responsibility. They're going to get these bills. Make sure you reach out to us and let us know. If you ever get a refund from your current lender's escrow impound account, do not take that check. Like, you know, call us so we can figure it out because, as people know, sometimes those mistakes happen. But basically having that, and then we have a 1-year check-in after that. Okay, and then we check in once a year after that, scheduled, where we'll reach out with a phone call. And a lot of times people don't answer, so we'll leave a message or send a text message after. But even if they don't respond, it's still the process of basically having that scheduled where I just pop up and I know the people that I need to reach out to you for that time period, right?
And where do you do with that? Or do you have like a CRM that's telling you, hey, it's been a month, or do you just like write it down in
See,
Excel?
dude,
or
we're
like...
so like dinosaurs. I mean, we use Google Calendar, like basically. So
hey, you don't have to pay for that.
You put it in, and one of the process of closing out the loan is that they go in and put those in my calendar, and then I know when they come up, I need to basically reach out to those people for those time frames. You put the yearly one on automatic repeating yearly,
yeah,
and then the other ones you just manually put in 1 and 3 months out. Also having like HomeBot is something that I use at a high level. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a monthly digest that comes that tells people what the value of their house is. And
I get it. I think you snuck me on this.
Yeah, I put everything.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and it's about your own house, so you kind of see it like, okay, this is
it's
like how much. I think it shows like how much equity you may have.
There's all kinds of stuff that you can play with. Airbnb, and it tells you refinance rates and all that stuff for national situation. Tells you how much equity you've had. You can edit it. It's really strong. So we also basically are going to sign them up for that, and then a text message goes out warning them that email is going to come. Mm-hmm. And the people that basically open that email, usually once a month, it's going to hit them every month. And that's just another constant reminder. And then we also have our CRM, which basically we sign them up for like the standard CRM, like, it goes on to infinity. Mm-hmm. So we're hitting them with those check-ins, the HomeBot, and the CRM. And then also this is something like that, we don't do yet, but we are moving towards doing. So I want to make sure it's clear. Like anytime I'm about telling someone to do something, I want to make sure I notate the things that we're working towards or the things we're actually doing. So those first things we're actually doing. I think something strong that I've seen other people do, like specifically like Chris Fox, and there's a few other realtors out there that do it, doing community events. Like he has a Santa, basically, Santa comes and they take pictures and they rent out a space and they have a bounce house. So that's his like flagship event. Yeah. So every single year he's inviting all of his clients to that event. It's not necessarily that they're all going to go, but it just gives them an excuse to basically invite them to something.
There's I don't know if it was in a book or someone I ran into, because sometimes it's hard to remember, but essentially there was a LO who did, two things he did every month. This was his entire business plan. He would do a lunch and learn with real estate agents once a month, and he would share value topics like we're talking about here today. And then he would do a mixer with his past clients once a month. All this guy did, and mind you, a person who killed 100 plus transactions a year, right? And at the event that he would do once a month, the mixer, say, hey, did a loan for Tim. Say, hey, Tim, I want you to come on over to this. We're doing Taco Tuesday. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? I want you to come over. And by the way, I got you two spots to RSVP, right? Mm-hmm. So that now Tim's like, hey, can I bring my buddy? Yeah, absolutely bring your buddy. Well, guess what? That buddy is the referral. Yeah. Right? I thought was so cool because they're like, is it okay if I bring my friend? Yes. That's actually the reason we're doing it, because you mentioned earlier in our unverified stats, it's 7 to 9 years before you're doing anything with me. Yeah. I really want your buddy or your coworker. So I think that's huge.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I think in our heads we create all these, and I'll put it out there. Like I will do a community event before the end of the year. I haven't done one yet, but something simple like coffee with a realtor. Like I know there's JoJo and Scott, who work on the Mitch Stein team, are doing. I did this presentation for them, and they decided to do a monthly coffee mixer.
There you go.
And they basically every single month they go to a different coffee place, and they basically offer to buy whatever clients show up. They're having somewhere between, maybe 8 to 12 to 15 people show up. They're buying coffee for these people.
And I'm sorry, so they are real sages, and they're inviting people they sold houses to.
Yeah, or friends, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be people they sold houses to. I think some of the people showing up are just their friends or whatever. But the thing is, they're spending whatever they're spending. Let's say it's $150 a month, $200 a month. If no one shows up, you pay $0. They're not.
The cost is based on who shows up. And if they show up, it's worth it. So.
And they've had some really great conversations. This is a newer thing that they're doing, but it's really I'm seeing it working firsthand. Mm-hmm. And it's super simple, and all they did was just put it in the calendar, and then they basically got to advertise it. Then I think mainly they're advertising it on Facebook, just putting it out there. Hey, we're going to be at this place. It's not some kind of like crazy expensive thing. It's just, and then the people that see it that can't go, at least they're seeing it.
Exactly. It's funny because believe it or not, I mean, as we record this today, tomorrow is day 1 of Q2.
Dude, I know.
Right, and I remember we sat down, and the funny thing is the importance of putting things on the calendar. And I thought about this today when we were meeting up after having to reschedule, is we, at the beginning of the year, set a calendar for ourselves. And every other month, we're going to do a podcast together, no matter what. And it's crazy how vital, because this is our third one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's because it's on the calendar. So just use the calendar. And these aren't expensive tools. We're talking Google Calendar, free, Microsoft Outlook. Yeah. Like, just set it and it pops up.
You got to do the work. You got to reach out. But I mean, maybe it won't be perfect at first. Another thing that, so my friend's owns a property management company, and they sent us this list of all their preferred vendors, and there was like maybe 4 or 5 pages of vendors, and roofers, plumbers, all the things that you would need as a property manager, all the same things you would need as a homeowner, right?
Yeah.
So another great way to reach out and add value is basically ask people if they need any vendors, right? You have these trusted people, this list. Now, you don't provide them the list, because if they provide them the list, they don't need you, right? But basically, it gives you an excuse to reach out and say, hey, like, are you thinking about doing anything you might need, like a plumber, or, how's the house going? Then you start having conversations of what they're doing. They're remodeling, they're doing this, they have problems with plumbing, whatever it is. You're become a resource at that point. And then enough times they're referring people, then they're always just going to think of you when something like that happens, right? So I just took the list from the guy that was the property manager.
If it's good enough for their property management, it's probably priced good. They probably show up on time, or else they wouldn't be using them. So
so I mean, create that list, and that also gives you the opportunity, if you don't have the list, to reach out to vendors and create that list and basically create those relationships with those people. So
that point on the list too is that everybody on that list also could be a home buyer or need a loan or something as well, right? Yeah. Huge.
I think also too, like, social media is a tool that a lot of us use, but maybe not as effectively as you could. I think that it's a very, very powerful tool to connect with past clients. I've done presentations about how I'll text a client or a real estate agent or whoever it is 1 million times, they never respond. And then the second I go on Facebook or Instagram and I message them, they're literally typing back before I can even finish my message. Like, they're on there constantly. For some reason or another, communications on Instagram and Facebook seem to be more readily replied to than other communications. And I have no idea why. Maybe
I know why, because you ever see people with their phone is stuck in their hand?
Yeah.
And they tend to do this,
So a way to stay connected with those people is basically have a list of your top clients. And I personally do this. I go and I find them, and basically I'm going to like and comment and keep track of what's going on in their life. I have a certain amount of time that's scheduled every week. I just do 1 hour, dude. It's not that much time. Yeah. And I'll literally scroll, but with a purpose, to try and find past clients to like, comment, and share their stuff, and basically message them. And you would be blown away. I think in the last, probably month or two, I've had multiple people reach out on social media requesting information about interest rates, quotes and stuff. And before that would never happen because I wasn't using it effectively.
Well, I don't think that, and I know that I get shit for this, but I don't believe that just putting a post on social media today is going to take you to the next level, be the top LO or realtor in the country. I do believe that when you add that to everything else you're doing, it's critical. That's my opinion, for what it's worth. Yeah. And again, not vetted in any way, shape, or form, but my own personal experiences like that. It's like, okay, I've had people in my line of work that email them, talk to them, whatever, and then nothing. Put a picture of me barbecuing a steak, and in the comments or something, oh, when are you going to invite me over? You know what I mean? Or whatever. Well, that's great. They're seeing it in a different light. So.
But you have to have it scheduled or it won't happen. If you're just blindly doing it every so often, it's not going to be as effective as if you're... I have a neighbor that I helped with her third loan, and we communicate on social media probably 3 or 4 times a week. She just says this, that, the other. She moved to Laverne, and she was from Diamond Bar, so she doesn't know the city as well as I do, obviously. Yeah. And she's like, oh, what about, I'll post something. She's like, oh, is that restaurant good? Or whatever. Or I'll see something. She'll send me a community event. Hey, you going to Wine Walk? So, there's all these little relationships that are just basically getting, growing from these communications on social media. Also creating shareable educational content. So the idea is creating a content that someone's going to want to share with their database, because that's how you expand your reach. So
what'd you get on the Dumb and Dumber one?
Oh,
because I remember that was like one of the first ones I remember seeing you.
That one got like 400,000 views or something crazy and 1 million shares, and I've had a couple go super mega viral. But I mean, really, like creating that information that people may think is funny or educational that may want to share, right? And then don't be scared to ask them to share. I mean, if you've helped someone purchase their home using a first-time homebuyer program, you might want to do a post about that and then request those people to share it with their, hey, share this with anyone that may be in your similar situation, right? Debunking myths that we're talking about, popular news that's in the mortgage or real estate world, like basically creating posts so they can share that out. The messaging magic is, I can't tell you just how powerful that is. And as loan officers too, like I created relationships with real estate agents that I probably never would have got from messaging them on Instagram. And it's really powerful. So,
I will say one thing that you talked about, one of your things, it's actually one of the things Tim Kale says, what is it that when we talk about high payoff activities and things, what is it you have wanted to do in your business and haven't done up till now, right? And it's a really good question, makes people think. And you touched on it where you said, community events, like I haven't done it yet and I need to. But you do the hikes and the walks because I've been on them. And those are cool too. And the dialogues, the conversations that we get to have.
Priceless.
Yeah. So
a lot of that's been more realtors focused. And I need to start doing more what's going to be more past client focused.
Gotcha.
So add value, but always call to action. So like I said, share this post with someone who is similar to you or whatever. Mm-hmm. You could always do value checks. So let's say as a real estate agent, you have access to the MLS and you know where that person lives. This is maybe not something necessarily you do as a loan officer, but this presentation was geared towards real estate agents as well. Uh-huh. But if a property goes for sale in the area of a past client, so maybe you have a hit list of all the people that you want to hit, all you got to do is create a search and see what properties are for sale around that client and basically reach out and say, hey, like this properties came for sale. Do you have any friends that might want to live by you?
Yeah.
How you loving your place? All this stuff. That's a good
conversation. Would you like your mother-in-law to move next door?
Dude, and then I guess the conversation started with the value of your house, right? Yeah. When it comes to HomeBot, like you could reach out to them and ask if anyone else might benefit from that. You maybe necessarily didn't do the loan for that other person, but they may like HomeBot so much that they may be willing to refer their friends to you to basically put into HomeBot, and they could start getting it.
Question on HomeBot, because I know you've used it a lot. What's the price structure of that? Is it like an annual, monthly? I'm assuming it's tiered.
It's relatively cheap if you're just going to basically create your own list of people that you're emailing it out to. Mm-hmm. I want to say it runs like $350 to $400 a month just for the base ability to add your clients to it. I think up to 1,000 clients. Mm-hmm. And then where it gets more expensive is when you start co-sponsoring realtors. Then you're going to be the mortgage person that's shown up when they're sending their HomeBot digest out. So I think I have so I have 47,000 emails that go out a month between all the real estate agents that I sponsor. I think my bill's about $1,000 a month or so. Yeah. But that's pretty priceless too compared to how many.
Well, so basically like, $4 a lead or somewhere around there is probably the math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Which if you did a loan for someone or you sold them a house, probably worth investing $4 a month.
Yeah, this is just not for everyone, but I think it's a good tool to get started, but you have to use it and you have to be consistent with it. Closing gifts. So we basically have one closing gift that we send to every single person that closes. It's right now what we're sending out is this charcuterie board that we bought on Amazon. It's really cool. It has all these different things to pull out. And after the transaction closes, we'll send that charcuterie board out and basically send a handwritten letter or note that says, it was great working with you, and I address it from myself and from the real estate agent that referred the people over. But you could also ask them, hey, do you know anyone else that might want one of these? Hinting, joking to the fact.
I'd ask someone how the hell to spell it.
Yeah, don't make me try and spell that.
Charcuterie. Now, does it have like your logo or info or something on it?
Yeah, not on the board itself. We just buy it from Amazon. We just put the card in. We spend like $50 or something. It's not like a crazy, and it's like $12 to ship or whatever.
Then when they whip that out to have their house or whatever, and it's like,
we get a lot of good feedback from that for sure. And that preferred vendor list thing as well. Like, hey, do you know anyone else that may need vendors for certain things? So you're trying to get the client's heads starting to think about people that they could connect you with, right? By asking those questions. So, I mean, like one thing that we do, or the things that we do that are strong, we're very good at following up before the transaction happens and after. We create a really enjoyable experience by, the most enjoyable experience we can. Getting loans hard, but we try to like figure out the pain points and make those easier, which makes people's transactions smoother, which makes them happier, which makes them more likely to refer you. Extremely excited and thankful through all stages of the process and beyond. We do send cookies when an offer gets accepted. We went on Etsy and we basically found a cookie vendor that was willing to ship nationwide or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And what they do is they cook fresh cookies, and then they have a note that they write on our behalf that says it's going to be sweet working with you. It's addressed from the real estate agent and from us. And it's a nice little touch. It costs us about $35. But basically they get that. We send that out the first couple of days. The transactions goes into escrow.
So this is offer accepted.
Offer accepted. Cookies go out. Basically, they get those. It's going to be sweet working with you. And then it's a nice touch. The real estate agents like it. And then a lot of times the people, they're pretty stressed at that like 7-day mark. Everything's kind of going crazy, and they get the cookies, and it's just a nice little excuse for them to give their kids or have one or whatever it is. The closing gifts are automatic. Those happen. We do we have a service that sends 4 cards a year. House anniversary, happy holidays around Christmas time. It's like Groundhog's Day, and then birthday cards, and those are automatic. We pay one fee, put their information in the system. That was automatically happened for 7 years.
Nice.
And those are like some of the things that we do that I think are really generating those past client referrals. Now, this is a quote from Bruce Lee: "Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity." Okay, so like, I'm telling you all these things that basically are a good idea for you guys to do, right? But
don't do it just once.
Yeah, the whole thing is
right?
It's going to be overwhelming. It's a lot. Maybe you pick like 1 or 2 things and start doing those consistently. We built this up over time, and it's basically created this really enjoyable experience that I think has probably been doing this consistently for 3 years or so. And now we're really reaping the benefits of all these past client referrals. I think we closed 18 deals last year that were all directly referred from past clients, which is a lot of money, when it comes down to it, from doing these little things.
Well, that thing about consistency, we've all seen. I've worked with people in the past that I probably looked at and said, "Man, I'm smarter than him or her. Like, why are they getting more business or
more consistent?
Their consistency is the machine, And the beauty of this is, if you put this into systems, CRM, paying a fee. The HomeBot one, you do it once, you don't have to do it again, right?
Yeah.
The postcards, that's 4 years. You do it once, you don't do it again. So just have these tools on your checklist. You close a loan, here's that you do.
That's it.
Be consistent.
And then it just happens. It comes up on the schedule, or it automatically happens. And I put this little thing in here. I don't know if you can see it, but it basically says, "You won't do this. Change my mind," right? It's like that famous meme or whatever.
100%. That's exactly what we talk about Tim Kaler.
Yeah. So
you won't do this. So how many of you here are going to listen to this and still be the 10% or the 91% realtor that doesn't follow up with the client?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just I talk to people all the time and basically give all these great ideas and tell them about things that we're doing. And I would say most of them don't ever do any of it because it all seems too overwhelming. But if you could just start doing some stuff consistent, like the Atomic Habits, like 1% better over a year, which is right there, 37 times better after 365 days of that.
Yeah.
So just get a little bit better each time, each transaction, put new things in, start adding those things, and then eventually you'll have all these things happening, and you'll look back and be like, "Well, I wasn't doing this before."
Well, I'll tell you, it's like any big project. The old, how do you eat an elephant or whatever? It's like, how do you build an ADU? That's been a pain in the ass for like the last 3 months, working on it. But you start in one space.
Yeah.
Doing the Ironman.
Step
one.
one.
With one step, right? How do you build to be, 80 plus transactions a year, do 10 deals a month, right? One deal, one idea, repeat, one idea, repeat, grow. And I think the one thing that always it shocks me, but I still feel like I'm 20. Don't look it with my Santa Claus beard in full.
You look pretty good.
In full fledged, but you know, it's amazing what we know after time, right? Like it's just crazy. I mean, how long have you been in the business?
2007. So what is that? 3, 4, 7, 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine 18 years ago, you know, you wouldn't do this.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just it.
I was just fighting for dear life, dude, you know? So.
Yeah.
But if you could start doing these things consistently, it will benefit your business. 100% guaranteed. Like, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, with that, thanks again, brother. Always appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
High fives. Hey,
guys.
guys.
Do better than that.
I just keep wondering how many views we get if you hit me in the face.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. But Mortgage Meet, marketing, education, activities, and tips for mortgage loan originators. Again, thank you for joining us. Look forward to the next visit when we hear about, maybe we'll discover a new steakhouse. Maybe we'll go out and maybe we'll do one live.
Never know.
We should do that. All right, thanks, everybody. Take care.